the final match between Egbert Nation and 4CEC. So I'm just gonna call them 4CEC because 4CEC is just too much right now, and I'm still gonna call Egbert Nation instead of EG because EG is gonna confuse the hell out of people. They might think that this is the like EG.home or something.
Evil geniuses.
Yeah. So Evil Geniuses. Is it the one where Rage Quit Hydra from StarCraft belongs to?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, it's the one. So anyway, yeah, into the third game. So the first game was taken by with a turnaround strategy. With a turnaround plays coming in from Team 4CEC. But the next game, the second game, was taken by Egbert Nation with a very convincing win. They were very systematic in their execution. They know exactly what they had to do, and they were not that much mistakes, And it wasn't really a matter of draft because Egbert Nation had a really bad draft according to Leo, relatively bad draft compared to what 4CEC picked. But yeah, they were still because of 4CEC not being able to pull it off properly, not knowing their heroes well, they lost it.
Yeah, it's not just about the draft when you play. Usually it's about the draft if you watch high-level games, but in games like this, you need to have the players understand what they're supposed to be doing.
Indeed.
I think they're fairly newer players than we are, because I've been playing Dota for like 7 or 8 years. It's a long time. I think they're new players, and I think they're new to competitive. It's a lot more complicated in competitive, and you can lose a lot faster in competitive because everyone is more organized.
The stakes are higher. I mean, it's not even it's ranked matchmaking and competitive gaming is incomparable.
Yeah.
Because of the sheer fact that the people you're facing are organized, exactly what you said. Plus, that they have the experience of fighting other players on a competitive level more often. It's like it doesn't even matter if you're it does matter because some competitive players they actually come from public matchmaking, so have really really high MMR. But more often than not, a player who belongs to a team who's more organized can even trump the highest ranking MMR player.
Yeah, it's very variable when you play Dota, especially if it's competitive, because it's not individual like when you play solo MMR. You could solo carry a team if you're really good. You can't do that as much in competitive games. Granted, it does happen sometimes with really, really good players, but it's a lot harder to do. Quack is actually, Quack, our player, is actually not really used to competitive. He didn't play competitive or bet games at all in high school. So oftentimes he finds it weird that we do things the way we do, like when we operate as a team. But he's getting better now.
Yeah.
But the first time he played, he was such a selfish player. Yeah, but he got better. I think these teams are going to improve if they play more. I think if they watch their replays, I think that's a major point of growth. If you watch how you play and you check which mistakes you're making, I think it's easier if... Are you going to upload this VOD?
Yes, I would be uploading.
I think it's easier if they have commentary too. So if they're listening to this, you should learn from what people are saying about your play style.
Yes, actually. And it's the same thing, right? For a lot of things, for you to improve, you need to look back, take a step back and look how you did things before so that you know which points you have to improve. So that's it. That's a little bit of discussion there about competitive versus pubs. So now we have the draft analysis here. We normally we actually see a lot of action. Yes, in the drafting phase there is action after the first two bans. So yeah, we have it right now. So the first ban for the Radiant team, Okay, let's start with the Radiant team. The first two bans is Lycan and Death Prophet standard, but not always the case. So again, these are the heroes I don't want to ban. What worries me though is it possible that some of the teams are banning these heroes like Doom and Lycan just because they know it's a standard ban?
That's sort of a bother too. They just go. This is what I notice a lot with teams and why they lose. They pick heroes they think is good as a draft, and it does look good as a draft, but they don't know how to play it because they're unfamiliar with how the heroes work. Just like the last time, the Radiant team, the last game, the Radiant team had a much better draft than the Dire team, but they still lost because they don't know how their draft is supposed to operate, and I don't think they were that comfortable with their heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That this is especially apparent when we play our games. You'll notice that we pick weird heroes a lot because we favor them over the traditional draft because we know we're stronger with that hero than the traditional counters.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we picked the Sven mid, and
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, it's because we're more comfortable with the draft. We're able to execute better. And I don't think it's all about the draft. If per se this person, and this person just says, "Give me this hero and I'll win." Sometimes you get that feeling that if you just play this hero, you're going to win because you really like that hero, and you're confident in your hero. It's better than picking that and having it countered, than play a quote unquote counter to the enemy's hero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Sometimes
So you
it all boils down to familiarity.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the major problem most teams have to deal with is to be flexible enough to have a lot of heroes they're familiar with. They need to increase their hero pool that they're familiar with and just pick that instead of trying to copy international teams' picks.
Yes, indeed, I agree. Okay, so now we're moving into the third bans. We have bans coming in. Is it a Brewmaster was banned from 4CE-C? I think this is a respect ban, considering that Egbert Nation was the one they were against with the Brewmaster, where they almost lost. It was game one, so they don't want to deal with it right now. And Silencer gets banned finally. Both teams, I believe, they noticed that hey, Silencer is somebody I don't really want to face right now. So just to make sure that he doesn't get picked, we ban him. And if you guys are just tuning in right now, we are talking about Brewmaster and Silencer because they were picked during the previous game, especially Silencer. Silencer has been making so much airtime, getting so much airtime tonight. And he's been actually a great help. No, so far, the team who had the Silencer tonight won the games. Okay,
Yeah, and Void.
And Void, by the way. So, wow, Dire was able to allow... the Radiant team allowed the Faceless Void and the Witch Doctor combination to come in, and this is critical. If you have the Faceless Void and the Witch Doctor, especially if Witch Doctor gets that Aghanim Scepter, you're going to have a really, really bad time if you're against them. And the Morphling Scarlet Mage response as picks is something I'm not really sure.
This is a very weird draft from Radiant. First picking Morphling, I think at the very start that was a really bad decision because Morphling is fragile early game and he can easily be countered. And this dire lineup, if you just look at it, is very flexible, but they already have a strong combination with the Witch Doctor Ultimate and Chrono. Omni Knight is a stupid laner. He sucks so bad at lane. Whichever lane you put him is usually a lost lane, just because of how bad he lanes it. His melee, his nuke costs a lot of mana and is very clumsy to execute.
I like that word, clumsy. That's exactly the word that I would describe how Omni Knight can be played. Although there are times that he can be used in tandem with other heroes, but more often than not, that's not how you want to play it in the long run. Because when you play Omni Knight as an offensive, it means that you have to use the purification, the heal, offensively. So this is going to put you in a bad spot if the enemy catches you without purification. Yeah.
I don't think this is the lineup for an Omni Knight. Maybe if they took an SD or something with a setup. It's an SD, a Sand King, and Omni Knight, that's a strong tri-lane. You hide into a heal and a stun. That's pretty much a guaranteed kill. But this is a Skywrath Mage and a Razor. They don't have stuns at all. So I think this is a big flaw in their draft. They think the enemy team is tank enough. If they gank the opponent's heroes, they just TP out. TP in your face, and they won't be able to do anything because they don't have stuns.
Yeah,
But
and we'll see. Now, again, just we have to emphasize, right, that I think that both teams are completely forgetting the other big old heroes like Enigma and Magnus, and they're just completely favoring how Faceless Void is played. I mean, the moment Faceless Void gets picked, the other team gets confused as to how to respond. They fixate on the Faceless Void when they should be thinking about, hey, Magnus is still on the table, Enigma is still on the table, Darkseer is still on the table, so,
I
right?
I think it comes down to the familiarity. Those heroes are difficult to use, so not a lot of people use them.
Mm-hmm.
Magnus is difficult to use unless you're able to lane well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for Enigma. If you've seen Quack's Enigma,
Mm-hmm.
the video of him failing a black hole,
Yeah, I've seen that.
people don't like to risk making those big fail plays because black hole has a really long cooldown,
Mm-hmm.
and it requires a certain level of skill to jungle an Enigma
Mm-hmm.
efficiently.
Mm-hmm. And
But I think people should learn it so they have a better understanding of the game.
yep. But yeah, I think also right now we might actually see players slowly growing into professional teams. But right now the biggest focus is to establish a network between these players so that they can actually practice those hard heroes, those difficult heroes like Enigma and Magnus.
Yeah, I think
And
also the concept of the roles is too amplified. It's not flexible enough.
mhm.
Actually, we make it a point to rotate who plays mid and who plays support, carries and stuff like that, which we're most comfortable with, just so we are able to gain a similar understanding of the game. Because if you know how the supports are going to gank, you're going to be able to save, like, let's say if you're a mid that has a damage nuke, you save mana instead of using it to farm.
Exactly.
Because you know your supports are coming, because
Exactly.
you played support before.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should play the roles, I mean, every role, not just stick to support or stick to carry, stick to mid. They shouldn't say that, oh, I'm only good at mid. That's a wrong mentality, and it's not going to lead to your growth as a player.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we see the last bans coming from Zyre. Puck doesn't really make sense as a ban. I mean, how exactly does Puck come into picture considering the Egbert Nation lineup? Dream Coil into, Blink into a Waiting Rift to a Dream Coil, and then Morphling, Scath Mage, Omni Knight. I'm confused.
Me
I mean-
too. I'm not sure about that pick because
And now, sorry to cut you off, but and then now they decide for Bristleback. This is definitely the offlane, but is this the offlane that you want?
I'm not sure. Because even then, even if they have picked the Puck as the last pick, it's not going to be able to do a lot, because if you look at the Dire, they have heroes that are hard to kill. Lich is just going to stay back, casting, Frost Nova and Death Pact. Witch Doctor has a heal, Viper has Corrosive, and Faceless Void has Backtrack, so Puck is not really effective. They picked Bristleback. I'm not sure about this. They don't have stuns at all.
Yeah.
Nothing to cancel TP except Adaptive, which I don't think the Morphling is gonna level until he gets 10 or 11. Oh, this is a good
wonderful pick with a Quid of Pain. I mean, Faceless Void catches anybody. Witch Doctor throws a stun, and by the way, he won't get cancelled because even if you say that the Arcane Seal of the Scarlet Mage can silence him, it's going to be a long shot for Scarlet Mage to be able to get that in, especially if he gets trapped in that, what do you call this, phase Chronosphere. And now moving to the introductions, I have ZDZ on the Scarlet Mage, KVD on the Razor. On the Omni Knight, Shaminuchi on the Razor, ZDZ on the Scarlet Mage, the Perfect State on the Bristleback, and Bebe on the Morphling. Meanwhile, on the Jar team, we have Scorch on Face Void, ILG on the Viper, Apologia on the Queen of Pain, Pin on the Witch Doctor, and Eva Almighty as the Bristleback. So again, this is game 3. 2 games have passed since we started at around 10:20 p.m. and both games have been wonderful. It's been action-packed, and we can see that these teams are evenly matched. So it all boils down on who will win this game. Now I have to step away from the mic, from the keyboard, for a few moments. Leo, please provide your analysis on how the early game would roll out.
Okay, I think this Viper is going to go offlane because of the player. Just ILG is their offlane player. But I think it would have been better if he went tri-lane as a Viper, because it's a three-range hero tri-lane if they went with a Witch Doctor and Lich. And just give the offlane to the Void, because they don't have a strong offlaner which wrecks the Void, or strong safe lane at all, because of how bad Omni Knight is. I think Radiant is heavily outpicked here, and the only way they're gonna win if they destroy the Radiant early, Dire early. It's difficult, I think. I'm not sure about this Radiant draft, but this Dire draft looks deadly. QOP's going mid, and they have heroes that sap XP with the Lich. And they have exchanging manners, you know. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, I'm back. Thank you, Leo, for opening for me.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how Radiant is gonna win. I'm still thinking about what they should be doing to win this game, but it's not a lot is coming to my mind just because of how badly they got outdrafted, in my opinion.
Yeah, so okay, let me just tweak with the settings. Yeah, so we see that the how do you remove the fog of war?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, for some reason my I can't see the side of. I can see them moving, but it's blurred out for the entire team. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I can still see them. So yeah, so again, during the drafting phase, Leo and I were talking about how cohesive 4CE-C's lineup is, and how completely how can I say this? Inappropriate, or how? Oh no, not unlinkable, or the separated or disjoint the lineup from the Radiant is. So we are now worried for Team Egbert Nation on how exactly they would pull this one off.
Yeah, because I think the only way to win is complete outskill.
Yeah, complete perfect execution at every second in the game. Okay, so for the laning phase analysis, have you gone through the laning phase analysis yet? We see an early engagement coming in. Scorch getting static link there. Razor is welcomed by 28 damage this early on, so that's gonna give him. This is gonna help him out in the last hitting for the next 20 seconds perhaps. And now Lich is going head to head against Skyreth Mage, and the Arcane Bolt doesn't really do much damage, does it?
It doesn't.
Okay,
he just needs to spam it.
Yeah, he just needs to spam it. Just around 70 damage, and he has a lot of hero pool anyway. Mana pool anyway. So it doesn't really slow, right?
Yeah, he has a clarity. Just as a Skywrath, I think this is what supports forget to do is just spam out everything. Use all of your nukes, because that's the point of the hero, is to harass, not to kill, but to harass. You just bully them out of the lane with your high movement speed and long range nuke. You just hit them and go back, hit them and go back, and just clarity up. That's the point of the hero.
So at the middle lane, I think Bebe and the Queen of Pain will definitely be seeing. Will find it a little bit difficult to kill each other because both of them have escape mechanism. But with regards to harassment, I think Queen of Pain will come on top because of the Shadow Strike. And you know, even if you say that Morphling has the Strength Morph to give him more HP, he doesn't. It's going to deprive him of mana, just morphing it out, and the damage for the agility from time to time. So it's going to be a difficult lane here for the Morphling.
Yeah, I don't know why they lane the Morphling mid, because Queen of Pain wins versus Morphling flat out because she has a better harass, longer range, and much better animation.
I love the animation from Queen of Pain. Oh, hang on, the top lane we see a lot of engagement coming in. Both melee heroes are getting dropped to near dying hit points. The Face's Void is now sitting at what? A really, really low HP, and now Witch Doctor is there to help him out, regenerate some of his hit points for
Mid lane.
Oh yeah, at the mid lane, thank you so much. We see Queen of Pain, oh, for some reason, we see the Queen of Pain overextending, and now the first blood goes to Morphling. And this is exactly the same thing that that happened during the first game, where, for some reason, a lot of heroes from the Tidehunter from the Radiant team was overextending and thus giving so much farm to the opposing hero on his lane. So it's the same thing that happened here just now.
I think this Queen of Pain watched the Dendy replay where he just destroyed a Morphling mid, and he was doing the right thing by harassing with Shadow Strike, but he overestimated level 1 Scream damage, because level 1 Scream is very crappy new.
Yeah,
he should have waited until level 5 maybe to have gone for the Morphling, but now he's at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean the Morphling has a bottle, and he's actually doing a bottle crow right now, Pinoy style. It's actually what we were known for some reason, and yeah, and I'm struggling here. Oh, hang on, I'm really struggling. Can you do you know how to remove the fog? Okay, you know what? Cover for me for the next few seconds. I just need to figure out how to remove the fog for some reason.
Okay.
I'm getting fogged a lot.
Okay, but I think this Queen of Pain has made a big mistake by trying to solo kill with just a level 1 Scream. So he was doing the right thing by zoning out the Morphling using his superior range and superior harass with a double Shadow Strike, the Dendy build, because that's what Dendy always goes for. It's better that way, but he made a mistake, and I think the Morphling can break even with him now that he has bottle.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna have to reconnect to the game, so give me a moment.
Okay.
Now keep casting the game, don't worry about me.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same, so I don't know. I don't care anymore. Let's keep discussing this. So if you look at the last hits graph, the Viper is actually sitting on top. I mean, if you lane a Bristleback against anyone who's ranged, you're already at a disadvantage because the Quill Spray will be harder and harder to land.
Viper is actually a direct counter to Bristleback because you just poison him and run away, and you just kite the Bristleback with the Viper Strike and the poison, and he's ranged and his damage increases each time he hits you. So it's not really a good matchup for Bristleback. I think they should start rotating right now. Have the tri-lane face against the Viper. Because they're losing the tri-lane badly again. I mean, Radiant is losing the tri-lane badly again.
Yeah.
It's like the last time. The 3 heroes just hang out at top, wasting time, not doing anything. This Omni Knight pick is not doing anything.
Yeah. I think they're hoping for a concussive shot, and then with a follow-up from the Legend Aura of KVD of the Omni Knight. Oh, action coming in here at the top. Purification getting casted, but the Purification is still at level 1, and he dies there. Static Link up on the Razor, giving him 28 damage. They can chase him down, but no, they are lacking 1 hero. So it was a 1-for-0 exchange in favor of 4CE-C. And that's exactly what Omni Knight is bad at. I mean, if everything goes down, if everything suddenly starts to happen, he has no way to help his teammates out besides that Purification.
And level 1 Purification is also a sucky nuke. Look at it, it's 90 damage and 90 heal. It becomes really strong at the higher levels, especially level 3, because it's 270 damage at level 3. It's stronger than most level 4 skills at level 3. So it's absurd at high levels, but at low levels it's very crappy and costs a lot of mana.
And not to mention that, what do you call this?
This Queen of Pain can actually kill this Morphling if she harasses him enough.
Oh, I was saying. No, go on, please.
If he just hits him with another Shadow Strike and uses the Regen rune, he could just blink, scream, and wave him.
Yeah. And I was talking about earlier about the Omni Knight. I mean, not to mention, you did mention that the Purification costs a lot of mana. I mean, and you think about it, it's not just that. Besides a lot of spells cost mana regardless of whether what your hero is or who your hero is. But the biggest factor is Omni Knight is a strength hero with a very, very low mana pool.
Yeah, it's crappy mana pool for a high mana skill.
Oh, apparently Scarlet Mage was able, I just reconnected back in, and Scarlet Mage was able to kill the Queen of Pain, and Queen of Pain again overestimating her skills.
Yeah, I think she's underestimating the Morph's ability to morph strength. She doesn't do her combo fast enough. She didn't do her Scream Wave fast enough that the Morphling died. And I think she missed a lot of the auto attacks. Queen of Pain is actually a really weak middle right now. I think she needs a buff just because her HP is too low. And there are a lot of better heroes at middle at catching up. Queen of Pain is a snowball hero like Storm Spirit, but her initiation range is much lower and she doesn't have a disable like Storm Spirit does. She relies on dominance, which she can do sometimes, like this. Like she's supposed to dominate this lane, but it needs to have a really good player behind it, you know, for it to work. Like Dendi, you know, it just destroys the lane.
And now, you know what? At the bottom lane, the Viper is left unchecked. He's actually sitting on a mechanism right now.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that the Radiant has going for them, because the top of the last hit chart is all dire. The 3 cores are farming really well.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do. If you look at the net worth though, the Viper, the Faceless Void, the Queen of Pain are all in the top 5 positions for the net worth. And within that range, we see the Morphling and the Bristleback. I mean, just by sheer number, the Drayden team is at a disadvantage, and now they are ganging up on the Viper, but he won't go down without taking the Bristleback out first. And now Scarlet Mage and the Omni Knight are both getting slowed down. The Legend Aura is not really doing much of a job, and it escapes. And this is brutal. This is brutal for Radiant team. They used 3 heroes to gank the Viper, and Viper didn't even die. And now Queen of Pain is there to support, is going to kill the Scarlet Mage, throws in the Shadow Strike. He might actually get an auto attack on top of this Viper. Oh, he actually gets denied. What the hell? Oh, because Omni Knight didn't even have the mana there. I am at the loss of what to say, because
it's just major outdraft, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going top.
Oh, they're going top. Scorch goes in for Shamanuchi, and Shamanuchi is definitely going to die here. Very, very casual pick off. 3 heroes against 1, and Razor is completely helpless without his supports, who, by the way, just died because they weren't able to kill the Viper, and they were out of fuel. You know, they didn't have anything to keep going. Yeah, so now we're looking at 2-4 in favor of 4CE-C, and the difference in experience earned is just severe. We're looking at 2,000 in the 10-minute mark. And
for them to win, this Morphling has to carry so hard, but he's not really in a position to do so because he's poor.
Yeah, he has a purse, but for me, I think do you think he should have went for the threads first?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not sure, because I don't like playing Morphling.
Oh, I don't really like this guy as well, so he bores me to death. Anyway, at the top lane, we see the Scarlet Mage and the Morphling going for the Lich. They will be able to get the kill though, but the question is, will they be able to survive this? Because Viper just tipped it in, and he is bringing down the hammer on top of Shamanuchi. Shamanuchi slowed so much with the poison attack of the Viper strike. Queen of Pain sees the Scarlet Mage out of position, and they go for him. Morphling will be able to waveform to safety, but now Aknologia is on his ass. He wants to get the Morphling here. Throws in the Shadow Strike. The Morphling doesn't know that 2 heroes are coming in for him. The waveform isn't cooldown, but you know, Queen of Pain is ready to blink in and throw the Shadow Strike. Oh, Omni Knight doesn't even have the mana for purification. He's relying on his Soul Ring to do so. Blink coming in from the Queen of Pain. Soul Ring was casted by KVD. He will heal soon, but no, the heal won't save you, my boy. You will die to the Maledict and the Shadow Strike poison. He gets denied by Bebe right there, and now just so complete snowball coming in from 4CE-C. We're now looking at 3-6 in favor of 4CE-C. 3-point difference with regards to the kill score. At the bottom lane, Bristleback is left alone, and the tower, by the way, is left untouched. It's still sitting at 1,300.
I don't know what this Bristleback should be doing, because is weird. You want a bristleback to face off a tri lane. It's not just 1v1, because you basically lose bristleback's effectiveness late game. So you want him to destroy the tri lane with his extreme tankiness. Yeah, it's not working well, and they haven't changed the lanes at all.
Yeah, and I don't know. I really don't know if they actually went for the Viper at the bottom lane, and then basically they just switched up the offensive tri lane to a defensive one.
Yeah,
it could have made a big difference.
Yeah, just swap lanes for the top. Have the bristleback lane against the Void, because you're gonna be annoying the Void a lot with your Quill Spray. And the supports are not gonna be able to kill you unless they have high levels. So you should have just done the rotation while the supports were weak.
Oh, hang on, the top lane, Scorch is going for Shominuchi once again, but this time no amount of level and tower will be able to stop Scorch and pin, because the Witch Doctor was already sitting at level 6 as well. So
I think this Queen of Pain is making a big mistake by making Shadow Strike level 3. That's the best value you get, because you're gonna need high levels of blink mid game so you can escape. See look how long this blink cooldown is 12 seconds at level.
Hold that thought, because at the bottom lane, Viper is going against 4 heroes. He is just walking away. 4 stacks of Quill Spray on top of him. Bebe goes for the waveform, and well, he gets wiped out by the last pop of the Quill Spray. So I guess I think that's a small victory for Egbert Nation, because they were able to get the Viper for Skype Mage. I have the feeling that it's a little bit too late, and now Bristleback TPs to the top, which they should have actually done earlier in the game. Going back to what you were saying about the Queen of Pain, please continue.
Yeah, it's making a big mistake by not skilling up Blink, because it's gonna take too long for you to have the next Blink Scream combo. You waste a lot of your skill, your valuable skill point on another point of Shadow Strike, which won't matter much because you're not in the laning phase anymore, and you don't have to harass someone.
Yeah.
You need burst damage in the form of chasing and screams. With the blink and scream, you need to chase and kill, and not just harass.
And so we'll now see that I guess it won't matter somehow, because they are really ahead of the levels. If you look at the hero level, Morphling is oh wait, hang on, let me take that back. They are not really ahead with the levels, but they are ahead with regards to the net worth, I believe. And the first 4 heroes are now to the Dire team. At the top, there's an engagement there. Witch Doctor was able to take the life of the Bristleback, but Morphling replies with a kill on top of the Lich. Arcane Seal from the Scarlet Mage on top of the Queen of Pain. Morphling goes back in to fight. Witch Doctor throws in the Voodoo Restoration, keeping his allies alive. Oh, just one last minute save there from the Witch Doctor heal to allow the Blink from the Queen of Pain to cool down first, and she will be able to escape. Now, Scorch isn't finished yet. He goes for ZDZ with a time off, slow down. Morphling will not be able to do anything here. And meanwhile, everything was going down there. Top lane, the Viper was able to take down the bottom tower, and now they will be taking the second tower as well. So 3 towers in that 3 towers all in all for the Dire team, and none for the Radiant.
Yeah, I think this Queen of Pain should have gone for Treads.
What did you go for?
Treads first before Malevolence. But now that he has the Malevolence, it won't matter. But in a game where you're tighter, a closer game, it would have mattered a lot to be able to Tread swap when you're using your bottle, just for that efficiency and extra attack speed and damage. You need that when you're playing a squishy mid-hero who needs mana like Queen of Pain and Storm. Treads is invaluable.
And I think the same goes somewhat to Shadow Fiend. It's
that
it doesn't really get picked with professional games.
Yeah, I used to always go for just brown boots on Queen of Pain, but when I played Treads, it suddenly felt easier to use her.
Yeah.
And I think this Queen of Pain should start doing that too.
I mean,
just upgrade.
It's a small things actually. I used to play a lot of Queen of Pain too, and alone, the attack animation of Kinopin is just absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, it's the best animation I think in the game.
Yes, and you know what? With treads or with at least the gloves of haste, it makes it even more awesome.
Yeah. You need that, especially when you're, kiting, because if you're not using your scream, you need to be able to hit a lot, so you deal damage.
Yeah.
But the malevolence is up, and he's gonna have the attack speed. But I think if he got treads, he would have been able to get the malevolence faster. Because is missing a lot of last hits, I think. Although this is pretty high, this is 75 for 18 minutes. Usually you want 100 for 20 minutes as a core hero. Yeah. But this is decent timing for the Queen of Pain. She has a lot of money, but I think if she had gone for treads, she would have been even richer right now. Maybe even a Dagon. He just wrecked this Skywrath mage.
Oh, hang on. Okay, before we continue with something, I was about to comment on something. I don't know what's up here, but what the hell is happening here? It's one of the things for Sentry Wards. Okay, so they actually just awarded the Radiant Jungle. I got confused for a bit. I thought they placed 2 Observer Wards there. Anyway, at the middle lane, they were able to take away the killing streak from the Morphling thanks to Scorch. And Scorch is really on fire. No pun intended, but whenever just like what you said during the second game, you just have to give Scorch his Face's Void, and he's gonna do the rest. At the bottom lane, we see an engagement here atop the Viper, but he will just TP out. And this is why you need, guys, this is why you need stuns. Alright?
Yeah, that's what I said before. Just TP out in front of you. You won't be able to do anything. I think this skill build from Void is not the most optimal. As a safe lane, this is not the right skill build. It's not the skill build you want. He always gets this skill build. He doesn't change. He maxes out Time Walk, then he raises Backtrack and just 1 level of Time Lock. This is the skill build for the off-lane Void, where you want to avoid as much damage as possible. But if you're safe lane, you need to be able to do damage, and to do damage you need Time Lock. Because if you're in a Chronosphere and Time Lock procs, you get double damage. So if you get level 4 Time Lock, each proc of Time Lock will net you plus 140 damage. And seeing Scorch's skill build, you only get, what is this, plus 80? You could be getting a lot more damage.
Hang on. Oh, Scorch actually goes in for Perfected State there. Witch Doctor follows up with an ultimate. They weren't able to catch Shominuchi, but it's not going to matter. Shominuchi will really fall here. Viper is still up. The Viper's like getting casted on top of the Razor, but will they be able to go for it? Now 1-for-1 exchange so far, and everybody disengages right after. And well, we are now... Oh, actually 2 heroes are dead. Viper also falls. Sorry, Razor falls to Viper, so the 2 core heroes... Sorry, 2 of the key heroes for a team fight for Egbert Nation is down. Morphling is up, but Morphling won't really be able to do right now on his own. He doesn't even have the Lincoln Sphere yet. He actually dives in, and I don't know what's up with him, and just dives in, decides to go for the strength, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be enough, because you're going to put your teammates out of position, and exactly that's what happened. Scarlet Mage was completely thrown out of position because he was trying to support the Morphling. And now this might actually be a tier 3 tower taken for 4CE-C.
Yeah, I think if they don't go for the GG push right now, they just go back and farm some more, delay the game a bit more. But basically, in my opinion, the win is already guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There might be a chance. So we've seen games just recently where it really looked like they were gonna lose, but you know what? At the last moment, somebody pulls off a big tide turner and they win. But I get your point. I really get your point, because
I'm not counting EG out. I'm not counting Egbert out, but it's just that the margin for error is getting slimmer by the second, and they need to play perfectly. This Morphling needs to solo carry his team so hard that I don't think you should be letting your Morphling carry such a burden.
Yeah, it's really hard to be a Morphling.
Yeah, like in games like this, you need to be able to support your carry and distribute the load amongst your heroes. Because a solo carry game is very difficult to win. And you'll see that with professional teams, especially with this specific player. Actually, his Miracle. He likes to solo carry his team with his Naga, Naga and Morphling, just split push. But if you look in high-level tournaments, that's why they never win actually, because they rely too much on one person to carry the game for them.
Yes, and that's why there was a time where Mushi and his team, actually it's a key with how Mushi plays. Mushi is a really good player, like per se, but whenever he do something off, it's always with the help of somebody from his team. And now Queen of Pain getting picked off by the Mystic Fair because of shot at the bottom lane, but Scorch replies to the Chronosphere right beside the tower, takes away the Sky Mage with a revenge kill. But no, unfortunately, the Lich had to use the Chain Frost there, so they're completely out of position. Oh, Scorch re-engages there on top of the Morphling and the Bristleback. Viper replies, follows up with a Viper Strike on top of the Razor, and the Omni Knight throws in his ultimate. Viper and the Faceless Void have to kite this one out until the duration just vanishes. Viper will fall to the Bristleback and the Morphling, and the Faceless Void just going for the Omni Knight here and the Razor. The Purification was cast. Of course, burns out his AP thanks to the Purification. Aegis gets popped. Morphling goes for a double kill there on top of Lich. Now Witch Doctor is out of position, throws his ultimate, getting Adaptive Strike and stunned Scorch Earth. I had to have to task the time walk away and TP out. I guess that's what happens when you just overextend. The Queen of Pain was so out of position during that time, and they ended up saving the ass of Queen of Pain and dying for that. So it was a team wipe actually, thanks to the Aegis that Faceless Void is still alive.
I think that's overconfidence from the entire team. Yeah, they just went in without any ultimates. The Void had no chrono, he just went in, YOLO.
Yeah, and they even let Omni Knight cast his ulti, which is critical, because one of the reasons why they have been winning was because of the Viper.
Yeah. And that Guardian Angel turned the fight, actually. If this continues and maybe the Radiant wins a couple more fights like that, I think they're back in the running to take the game.
Yeah, because right now it's still a game for 4CE-C to lose. Yeah. But that's about it. I mean, even if we say that they would be able to bounce back from this deficit, if you look at the experience graph and the gold graph, just before that clash that just occurred, 4CE-C was sitting at around 10,000 advantage in the experience and 12,000 in gold. And then suddenly it started curving towards the middle because of that last team fight. But there's still a long way to go. They're now sitting at the 6,000 lead in experience and 8,000 in gold. So it's still a long way before they could actually even it out. And until they at least remove like around a couple of thousands more in both departments, experience and gold, they aren't in the game yet. They aren't back in the game yet.
I think this is confusing me actually. If you haven't noticed this, if you've noticed this, is that they're doing it now. This Morphling is doing it now, but not a lot of them are farming the Ancients. They're not putting any emphasis on creep stacking. If the supports have stacked for the Morphling, maybe they would have gotten online faster. Maybe stack this camp here for the Morphling. We would have gotten online faster instead of just standing around in lane. Because this is what I noticed, that this is going to be a bit offensive, lower skill level players, support players too, it's just they stand around doing nothing. And as a support, you need to be, I think, the most efficient player on your team, because you're going to be getting the least amount of farm. You're supposed to be able to eke out every last hit you can, because those last hits are precious. You need 150 for wards. That's 3 last hits. If you can get those, that might mean the difference between victory and death for your team.
Yeah.
So if you
No, no, please
But
continue. I was actually just agreeing.
yeah, yeah. Those kinds of things matter the most for supports. You need to be able to make those little plays of efficiency that boost your team to a new height. You know, if he was able to stack this camp, he might have just gotten a higher level. If he stacked this camp maybe 4 times for the
Hold
wave
that
form.
thought. Bebe might actually be picked off here by Scorch. Chronosphere, Viper Strike, and the Witch Doctor Ultimate is going to wipe him out. Oh, he's able to replicate out. He was spamming the hell out of that fight, I believe, and he's actually was able to save himself. So
No Maledict.
no Maledict.
Yeah, no Maledict.
So please, yeah, continue.
Yeah, yeah. Back to what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
This Omni Knight actually benefits a lot from creep stacking. He's a lot like Sand King, but he's weaker in the sense that he can't jungle as early. But if you get him a level 4 Purification and a Soul Ring, he can basically just hang around in the jungle, stacking creeps and farming everything with Purification.
Yeah.
Even then, he could have just stacked the creeps for Morphling and hang around when Morphling farms it, so he gets XP.
Oh, hang on. Imminent engagement here at the top lane. Fortification of the Radiant team was used, so this means that they want to fight this, they want to engage this. Scorch already has the ultimate in. A 3-hero Prosphere there, cashing all the supports behind the team fight. Silence from the Arcane Seal on top of the ZDZ. Not really going to help a lot because the Mask of Madness is the key for this Faceless Void. Razor Shominuchi goes for the Eye of the Storm on top of the Faceless Void, but decides to go ahead and save Razorback. I don't know. He's actually really confused right now, and making me confused as well. He wants to do something, but he doesn't really know exactly what. Bebe goes for the Queen of Pain, finds a kill there. Goes for the double kill on top of the Lich, so it's now 4-4-2. Viper Strike from the Viper there, getting deflected by the Lincoln Sphere, but Bebe will be able to take Scorch away? No, the BKB and the auto attack just coming in, protecting Scorch from the waveform of that strike or anything magical from the Morphling, giving him that additional HP. So far, I think it was it a team wipe? Because it felt like it.
Yeah, I think it's a team wipe. They just respawn early.
So this is.
I think the Morphling made a mistake because his replicate was not where he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
When he replicated, it's just beside himself.
Yeah.
I think he was controlling Morphling with the replicate. He was in the same group, so when he issued the move command, they moved to the same place.
Yeah, I believe that's happened as well. I mean, that was bad play for Morphling. He could have actually saved himself there. And didn't lose a lot of gold.
Yeah, it would have been an epic play if he did that.
He gave the Viper like additional 600 gold during that last fight. So
yeah, but I think they have a higher chance of winning now that this Morphling is very farmed.
Yeah.
He can solo kill the supports, even the Queen of Pain if she blinks too early. This Queen of Pain is making mistake after mistake in my opinion. This item build is not that great. Desolator is good on Queen of Pain if you have something that helps you survive the fight, like a BKB. But this is just making her too fragile. I would have liked it if she just went for a Shiva's or even a Heart or a Lincoln's, just so she doesn't get shotgunned by the Morph.
But this is definitely going to be a question of, how would Queen of Pain play this one out? Because he just wasted all the advantage on the Desolator. Even I would actually preferred exactly the things that she said, or maybe even Scatty.
Yeah, Scatty if you want to tank, yeah.
Or Aghanims, just to ensure that you are just that strong, that useful during a team fight. But right now, it's very questionable. They're going for a smoke gun. Oh, wait. Scorch goes in for Shominuchi. They actually catch the replicate as well. Scorch getting confused as to who the real Razor is. And they go for the replicate. Wonderful play there from the Morphling now. Omni Knight goes for the ultimate. Pipe of Insight is up. Aknologia will die. Queen of Pain is dead. Witch Doctor throws in his ultimate. He has the Aghanims. The Witch Doctor ultimate is just bouncing on top of everybody. Goes for the double kill. Might go for the triple kill. Oh, has the triple kill indeed. Bebe is almost dying there. Viper wipes the Omni Knight out, and only the Bebe is alive. Bebe replies with a Data Strike, forcing Scorch to go backwards there. Buyback coming in from Razor, but it's not going to be able to be not going to be enough to save the tower that Scorch will be taking with that damage on him. So again, Scorch is just going for the same item build he went for during the first time that he played Faces Void tonight. Definitely buying that MKB, I believe, sitting at around 2-7 gold. And yeah, the biggest misplay there for 4CE-C was that they went for the replicate. They really got confused. You could see Scorch wondering who to attack, and then Viper actually threw the Viper strike out of the replicate. They could have actually had enough damage between themselves to go and finish off the fight better, but I guess at the very least they were able to do so. They took away 4 heroes from the Radiant team and they forced a buyback on Razor, so that's good.
I think this Witch Doctor won them that fight. If Witch Doctor wasn't there with that really big ultimate, that Death Ward just wrecked everyone. But that fight was actually a bad fight for Dire to take because they wasted all of their damage on the replicate. It's just that the Death Ward bounced around everyone and killed everything.
Okay, so now Bebe goes in for the Ethereal Blade and just replicates away. And this is actually one of the most annoying things one of the annoying things that I don't like about Morphling. So is that he's kind of the hero who can safely farm the lanes because he has the replicate skill going for him. And you know, it's an instant teleport away. It's not, you don't even have to channel it. It's an instant swap. I don't even actually get the logic of it. You're making a copy of yourself and then you're gonna switch to that copy of yourself like on the other side of the map. So yeah, but that's it. You know, one of the things that gives Morphling that versatility in farming.
Yeah, but Morphling is actually a weak hero in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's farm dependent, his damage is not that high. He can be flexible because of Morph, but even then, he's still farm and level dependent. He doesn't have a disable. I just really don't like it.
Yeah. You know, I back then when we didn't really emphasize so much on the roles, on the current meta, back in the Warcraft 3 engine, I loved Morph so much. Because back then you didn't really have to worry about item dependence and all that crap.
Yeah, because Dota 2 is a harder game in my opinion.
It is.
It's easier to troll in Garena pubs, you know, in Warcraft pubs, because everyone is a noob. You just get away with everything. In Garena pubs right now, if I play Garena pubs right now with some of my friends who don't have Dota 2, I can build a wisp that deals physical damage. A physical damage carry wisp. It's crazy.
It's crazy, yeah. So, well, we see Queen of Pain catching up on the Morphling there at the Radiant jungle, but Morphling replies with a shotgun combo, but it's not going to be enough because he had to use the waveform to run away from the Queen of Pain. So, you know, a little bit of, that's the thing. These players, the teams they have right now, they play quite, they really play defensively. They don't really go for the aggression. I mean, that Morphling could have killed the Queen of Pain if he waveform on top of the Queen of Pain, because QOP just used the blink then and I just pressed on with a shotgun. But you know, to each his own.
Yeah, it's basically turning into a match where who has the better carry player.
Yeah.
I think Morphling and Void are evenly matched, with Void having a slight advantage because of the chrono, but Morphling can split push more effectively. So if they create enough space for the Morphling and have the Void chrono someone else, I think they win if the Morphling is farmed enough.
Yeah.
They're definitely back into this game just because of how, you know, how 4CE-C made several mistakes, like being overconfident in the bottom lane. That bottom lane fight with the Guardian Angel really turned everything for EG. They gave him hope. But I don't know about this fight because they now have Aegis and this Void is massive. They're going down the mid.
Doesn't have the damage yet. Oh wait, he goes for the Maelstrom here compared to the MKB pickup before. So he's really going for the attack speed this time. So Desolator, I think that's for the towers. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? It makes a little bit of sense. The Desolator do work on tower. The Desolator actually works on towers. So you know, maybe there's that. Chain Frost casted by Lich for some reason. It's not even an agonist. He was hoping for a trick shot, that would
I
latch on to the enemies. Now Scorch getting silenced there, BKB getting cast in perfect state, and Shamunuchi getting thrown there. Oh, Omni Knight saved there with his ultimate, but not going to be enough. Stream of Pain goes for the Morphling. Morphling dies, buys back into the game. Now, the Omni Knight is dead. 3 heroes are left to defend here for Egbert Gaming, and this might actually be GG. They're just dying all around. Scarlet Mages are dead. Razor might actually follow suit. Morphling is out of position. He's getting attacked by Scorch. Bebe is morphing into the strength, giving him so much HP, but not going to be able to do anything else besides that. So the racks will definitely go down, and we still have 5 heroes here for 4CE-C, and the Voodoo Restoration from Pin, giving them that sustainability. Scorch still has that Aegis, by the way, and Lich will have his ultimate by the next minute. Viper Strike is up, BKBs are down, Mechanism will be used, and there you go. Morphling finds a kill on the Queen of Pain, but that's about what they can do. 4 heroes are up. Bristleback will be up in the last second here. So Minucci getting Viper Strike. His Scorch goes for him, and he will actually die here. Scarlet Mage replies with his ult, with the concussive shot and arcane bolt. 3 hero Chronosphere there coming in from the Faceless Void on top of Bebe, going to pop his Aegis up. Pipe of Insight casted by the Bristleback, but yeah, it's not going to be enough to chase everybody down. But Viper, at least he will die definitely. Now Lich is out of position. 2 heroes there down for 4CE-C, and well, it's a 3-4-1 exchange in favor of Egbert Gaming, but that actually cost them their towers, so it's still the game is still looking in favor of the Tsar team.
Yeah, I think this is GG already. If that was me, I would have called it. The moment the mid-raxes were gone, I would have called it GG. But maybe this Morphling still has, hope in his heart that he's gonna carry his team. It happens sometimes that you sort of get into the zone that you know that you can still win this game, even though it looks hopeless. And sometimes all you need is a player who thinks like that, and the means to do so, like this Morphling. He has the means to carry his team, but I think the margin for winning is smaller and smaller each time. This item choice, I think, is gonna be the bane of his victory. This BKB.
Well, yeah. Normally, what would you have picked up with the same amount of gold?
I'd take a Manta.
Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Manta or a Skadi.
Oh, by the way, even if they have somebody like that like the one you just described now, somebody who believes in the team or what could happen, they are sitting at a 25,000 deficit in gold. So
I think this Morphling still believes.
Yeah, I mean, not to take away from the Radiant team, but they really have to do a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, this is
the top 5 heroes with net worth are all from the Dire team. So I don't know with that.
I give this Morphling a 5% chance of carrying his team. The odds are, odds of victory are 5%. If this Morphling manages to pull off a victory, I will definitely watch out for him the next time.
Yeah, and you really need to be careful. I mean, these kinds of heroes, are carry players who can just carry the entire team after a big losing situation. That's definitely players or teams to be more precise to look out for. Now push coming in from 4CE-C is going to be a 5-man push of course with a Witch Doctor at the back, and just Viper and Fist Void leading the charge into the base. Fist Void goes into behind the lines and goes for Omni Knight as well. This is a wonderful Chronosphere coming in from Scorch. They wipe out the Omni Knight, the Pipe of Insight was casted, but this is going to be GG. 3 heroes are dead. Scorch is now sitting at Godlike, and now this is just, there's nothing that Egbert Nation can do to bounce back this time. Acknowledgia goes for the Scarlet Mage, and Scarlet Mage is dead. It gets silenced, he gets Shadow Strike, Auto Attack, everything that you can think of. Now Bebe is just in danger of dying as well. He morphs to the strength, but that's not going to help him modify the towers. I was wondering maybe if there was a way that you could morph the morphling strength to a tower. Then maybe they would survive. But no, this is definitely 4CEC's game. They were organized, they did the drafts well, and they will be taking the game.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes made by both teams, I think, helped shape the match into this way. Because if they didn't make mistakes like that, I think the game would have been different.
Oh, hang on. Scorch goes for the 3-hero Chronosphere there. Catches the Razor, the Omni Knight, and the Morphling right off the bat, but Static Link up on the Razor, taking 224 damage from the Chronosphere. Also ready for the Faceless Void. He's actually without attack. And well, Razor takes away Witch Doctor, but the Morphling replies and takes a godlike streak. And the game goes to 4CEC. And it's just a wonderful game, Leo.
It's a nice game.
It was a nice game. Again, are you sleeping immediately after?
No.